crankbait made. Now it's time to clear coat off. I'm using a 2-part 30-minute epoxy for this. I might put a little glitter in it to give it a little bit of shine. I've seen that done online. This is kind of the last part of this, unless I decide to put a second coat on after that. So let's get started. I've got a scale here, and I'm going to turn it on, and it says 0. I'm going to put this cup on, and it says 0.18 ounces. If I press this, it should zero it out, so that when I put the epoxy in, it should be able to measure out equal parts, I hope. Now I've noticed that this epoxy resin, one bottle of it is quite thick and the other is thin. So in order to do this, I think I am going to do the thick one first, and I have these tongue depressors that I'm going to cut in half so they're not quite so large. And don't need too much of this stuff. So let's see. I'm doing the thicker one because it's harder to control the amount that I put in here. So this one up to 0.56. So if I go up to about 0.60, if I go up to about 1.2 ounces, 0.7, 0.9, okay, that's exactly 1.2 ounces. By the way, I did put these in a bowl of hot water before I did it. It seems to make them a little less thick. Okay, so let's turn this off and put it aside, and let's stir this. Directions say stir forever, 3 to 7 minutes. So oh, it's making bubbles too. I'm going to have to use the hairdryer to get those out. So I'm going to stir this, and I'm going to come back when it's stirred. Okay, I'm back. And dare I add a tiny amount of this very fine glitter to it. I am going to, just to see what happens. I have whipped some bubbles into this, so, and I have heated it up, which took a lot of them out, but I think I'll have to do it again, and then probably heat it up again after it's on the bait. Okay, the glitter is thoroughly mixed in here, and I think I have a lot of the bubbles out. So let's see what we can do. About getting some epoxy on this. I definitely do not need to mix up this much next time. The epoxy isn't that inexpensive, so mixing it up in this amount for nothing. is unnecessary. When I put this on, a few hairbrushes out here. Some of the strands of hair are coming off the brush. Maybe I shouldn't use brushes that are this cheap. The rotating rotisserie device is in the house because even though I have the heat on in here in the shop, I won't be leaving it on. And the temperature outside right now is a balmy 18 degrees. So it would cool off quickly in here. So I'm going to let this cure inside with the people where it's warm. I'm hoping that maybe one coat will be enough. That waits to be seen. I don't mind putting on a second. I have to. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Okay. Into the house. So here it is in my kitchen, rotating, and it's 30-minute epoxy, but I'll let it go 24 hours. I'm in no rush. Possibly there'll be another coat that will go on. I'll wait and see. I can see the glitter. I don't know if that shows or not, particularly on the black back. It's kind of neat. I might have put a little bit more too. Might have been a good idea to do that. Huh, next time I'll know. Well, here's the bait. It actually came out pretty good, except for one minor point. When I mixed up the epoxy, I followed some of the directions by people online that said do it very accurately, get a scale, weigh it out. I did. I weighed it out meticulously. And I put it on, and then put it on the dryer, and it didn't dry. So looking carefully at the bottle, I found in tiny pill bottle letters, it says measure 1:1 by volume, not weight. So I had to scrape off all of the epoxy and put another coat on. The only thing is that getting it all scraped off is very difficult without scraping off the paint too, so I had to be very careful. Couldn't get it all off. I put on another correct mixed epoxy batch. The only thing is it's drying in some places and not in others. So this bait, looking good, might end up just being something that I mount to remind me that I messed up right at the end. But I'm satisfied with the fact that I could actually make something that looks acceptable. I just need to get it right at the end. Mixing up the epoxy shouldn't be a problem. I think epoxy will work quite well. I might at some point go to the UV light, UV epoxy type thing, which you brush it on, put it in the UV light, and a few minutes later it's cured and hard. I understand it's very good. It's a little bit more of an expense though. But I guess I'll be starting my second bait, and this is a lesson to me, and also to this whole video has been a learning process, and hopefully someone like me that's never done this can get something out of it. I know it was very long-winded, and there's six episodes of it. But I will not be fishing with this bait to show you how it moves, because it's never going to dry. It would seem that epoxy doesn't just dry slowly if you mix it improperly. It does not cure. It stays sticky forever. So that's my lesson, and I hope this information might have helped.